Good morning. I'm meteorologist Kevin Smith from the National Weather Service in Pocatello with another edition of your weather hazard briefing for Southeast Idaho. And congratulations, everyone. We've made it to Friday, April 5th. And even if some of you are excited about the weekend being here, unfortunately, the weather is not going to be quite so exciting here as we step into the weekend. So let's take a look at that right now. Key points for the next few days. That low pressure system that we've been telling you about, it's the same system that's created breezy conditions here the last day or two. It's been responsible for some of that thunderstorm activity across the Central Mountains, even as most of the rest of us have enjoyed beautiful, warm spring weather. That system has been sitting along the Pacific coast, and it is finally marching inland today. We're sorry. So, widespread rain and snow showers expected across the entire region starting later this morning. Some isolated thunderstorms, breezy conditions, and unfortunately colder temperatures. And these conditions will generally be in place not only today, but throughout Saturday and Sunday as well. This is going to be about a 3-day period of this storm system. It's actually 2 different low pressure systems that are going to be affecting our region before they finally kick out as we go into Monday. Within all of this, we do have another area of stronger wind that we're forecasting here. Strongest winds of this entire period expected Saturday across the Shoshone area, down across the eastern Magic Valley, down into the Raft River region, all the adjacent mountains down toward Oakley and Malta. West winds, not south this time, but west as the system comes in, expected to be sustained about 25 to 35 miles an hour with gusts to 55 miles per hour. So this will once again create a potential for some hazardous travel, some hazardous crosswinds down across this area for high-profile vehicles and particularly empty or lighter semi-trucks. So want to plant that on everyone's mind. Not a wind direction or wind magnitude that we're expecting major issues or major damage or anything like that, but particularly for some of those higher profile vehicles and trucks, it's something you're definitely going to want to be mindful of. And encourage everyone down across this wind advisory area, which I'll show you graphically here in a minute. Secure those loose outdoor objects. Bring things inside if you can before the winds start to ramp up mid-morning Saturday. There is some good news in all of this, though. We love bringing you good news. Drier conditions are expected next week. It's not completely set in stone yet, but we're looking at least some weak high pressure starting to build into the region, supporting mostly drier conditions, but also a pretty strong warming trend as we go through the week. We are expecting those spring-like temperatures to return, particularly from Tuesday onward. Monday, a little shaky. We still got that system trying to get out of here, but particularly from Tuesday onward, I think things will trend back into much quieter, more spring-like weather for those of you who are enjoying what we saw here over the last few days. Weather risk outlook is front-loaded with our system, and then on the tail end here, there's that improvement as you go Monday into Tuesday where we drop all of the hazards and risks here off the chart. But in the meantime, breezy conditions to windy conditions. There's rain showers, snow showers, some thunderstorms, even some patchy morning fog this morning for a couple spots, kind of all thrown in here. Temperatures will cool over the period. So as we go into tonight, and then we go into Saturday, and then we drift into Sunday, we're going to see more and more snow versus rain. Actually, I think Saturday and Sunday here over the weekend, the only places that'll be warm up enough for some rain showers to mix in will be down here across portions of the Snake Plain, the eastern Magic Valley, maybe down toward Raft River as well. But outside of that, snow shower activity. We have highlighted, like we just mentioned, for Saturday, some more moderate risk here, particularly for travel and for trucks across the eastern Magic Valley and South Hills, where we will have those windier conditions in place, so be mindful of that. We'll take a look at snowfall here, talk about that a little more in just a moment. Just like yesterday, watches, warnings, advisories getting more colorful as the system finally moves into the region here. The brown shading down here, including Shoshone, Twin Falls, over toward Burley, down across Cassia County, I-84, I-86 here. This is the wind advisory that is in effect not for today, but for Saturday, that period of stronger westerly winds. And outside of that, you can see quite a few areas around the region lit up in purple for winter weather advisories. This is for snowfall or a combination of snow and wind with this system here the next few days. But generally across our immediate forecast area, the wind, the main concern. We have not actually issued any winter weather alerts at this point. I'll talk about why here in just a moment. And you may be able to see some shading here in green right near Pocatello. That is actually a flood advisory for the Portneuf River in the Pocatello area. I'll talk about that in a moment as well. Current satellite loop this morning, there's the low. You can pick out this counterclockwise spin in the white cloud cover here centered across north central California. That's the actual low pressure system finally marching inland. Out ahead of it, southerly winds with moisture and clouds streaming north across Idaho. Underneath it, you may be able to occasionally catch a glimpse of some blue shading as well. We actually have some low clouds and even some patchy fog caught up under this, and some showers here as we look at the current radar loop right on our western doorstep as you head out toward the eastern Magic Valley and portions of the western central mountains. I'll show you what that might look like here as we go through the course of the day. Been talking this morning at the office. If you've been watching our briefings the last couple days, you may have remembered us using phrases like, hey, a tale of two weather patterns. We've had these warmer, drier conditions in the eastern part of our forecast area. We've had slightly cooler, more showery and thunderstormy conditions across the central mountains. We're kind of in the same boat this morning in that we were looking at readings from our weather stations. We have very dry air still in place here along and east of I-15, but as you get down into Pocatello and Arco and points westward, we've seen very moist air come in from the west, cooler air with temperatures in the 30s this morning coming in from the west, just a much colder, much more moist air mass, and that has led to some patchy fog development. That's been in and out of the Sun Valley, I shouldn't say Sun Valley, the Haley Airport area, up in the southern part of the Wood River Valley this morning, and we've seen that on some webcams further south. So this graphic here is showing you in yellow the areas where you may run into some patchy fog this morning, some patchy dense fog out there this morning with that cooler, wetter air mass trying to sneak in here. So do be mindful if you're traveling. Be prepared to slow down and use caution if you encounter patchy fog out on the roadways. And again, not seeing that risk here as we get along in east of I-15, where again, we're just much drier, and that is going to change here as the system comes in. Low temperatures this morning, generally in the lower 30s to about 40, depending on where you are, just a touch cooler than the past several days. Here's a look at high temperatures this afternoon here on the left. You can see readings are cooling. We've lost some of those really mild springtime temperatures. We may still achieve some mid-50s for the upper Snake Plain region as shown here. Again, it's still kind of warmer in the east, cooler in the west, but region-wide, 40s and 50s, the flavor of the day. Still breezy today. Over here on the right, this is a look at wind gusts, generally out of the south to a little bit southwest as we go through the course of the day. Gusts anywhere from about 25 to 35 miles an hour with some higher gusts in some of our mountain areas, as well as down along I-84 to the south and east of Burley. Let's walk through what the precip might look like today. This is really our first day, again, where this system is bringing in more widespread organized precipitation in the form of rain and snow showers. As we always caution you, we look at lots of different computer models, and this is just one of many models trying to tell us what it thinks the radar might look like over the course of the day. So this isn't going to be perfect. Don't read too closely into any particular blob here on this over any particular city, but again, we're looking for the general flavor, the general timing, the general trends here. So kicking off at 6 a.m. this morning, pretty quiet, not much going on, precipitation off to our west. As I advance to 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, look at what we see. We start to see this increase in shower activity from the south central highlands up across the eastern Magic Valley into the south central mountains. Let me back up again to 7. We'll go 8, 9, 10 a.m., 11 a.m., noon. You can see expanding chances for rain showers, some snow showers in the mountains, some thunderstorm activity in this, expanding across most of the forecast area, particularly along and west of I-15 by noontime. Then this afternoon, 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., expanding further, that chance of showers and thunderstorms reaching the Wyoming border as well. Everyone across southeast Idaho will have a chance at these hit and miss rain showers, snow showers, thunderstorms. 4, 5 p.m., 6 p.m. Maybe a little bit of a trend here to organize some of the more widespread precipitation in the east now. A little more showery across the western part of the forecast area, but from, we'll say about I-15 eastward, maybe some consolidation and some more widespread precipitation. And then 7, 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m. this evening. Lots of shower activity out there. Maybe starting to trend down a little as we go into the night, but still everyone seeing a chance at some of this precipitation. High temperatures here on the left for Saturday. Sorry, we're getting even colder. 35, the best you're going to do in Driggs. You can still see some 40s, 40 to 45 degrees up the Snake Plain corridor. Twin Falls, 43, up to Stanley, 38. So a mix of 30s and 40s here, depending on your location. Again, we're trending into more and more snow shower activity with a little bit of rain shower activity mixing in here where you see the 40s. And over here on the right, here's the westerly winds now as the system is very close to us. And you can see that corridor of much stronger winds coming in from Boise across the eastern Magic Valley, the Raft River region, possibly as far east as Blackfoot, Pocatello, and McCammon, seeing some of the stronger winds, although we haven't included you in the wind advisory. You're just a bit lower on your forecast speeds. This entire corridor, 30 to 40 mile per hour gusts should be pretty widespread. And then you can see here 45 to 55 mile per hour gusts expected in the general wind advisory area, including Shoshone, Burley, Oakley, the I-84 corridor, cold water on I-86. So again, be mindful of difficult driving for high-profile vehicles, maybe some crosswinds on certain highways down across this area on Saturday. Sunday, winds will start to back off a little bit, and you can see temperatures continue to only top out in the upper 30s to some mid-40s, depending on where you're located. We'll continue to see hit-and-miss rain and snow shower activity across the region on Sunday. Broad look here at new snow that we're expecting from today into Saturday, into Sunday and Sunday night. So this is everything falling out of the whole rest of this storm system before we start to dry out early next week. Some of these look a little high. You see some yellow and orange shadings here in some of the mountains, but remember, this is spread out over 3 days. This is not all going to come at once, and a lot of these areas that were in the yellow or better, that's 6 inches or greater, are up quite high in elevation, 7,000 or 8,000 feet. That's generally above pass level in most areas. So we haven't issued any winter weather advisories or other types of winter weather alerts right now, just because of the elevation dependency of this snowfall, the marginal temperatures, just a slight adjustment in temperature or snow levels really going to affect impacts here. And as you get down into the plains and valleys, temperatures are not going to support a lot of snow sticking to the ground is what we're looking at. It's one of those messy springtime systems here as far as precipitation type. A light coating to an inch. Portions of the eastern Magic Valley and Snake Plain corridor. You can see as you get into the valleys across our mountain areas, we start to see an inch or more. I think Island Park, the Teton Valley, portions of Caribou County here in the east, maybe 1 to 4 inches or so over the 3-day period. Galena Summit has been coming a little high, maybe 6 inches plus there, again, spread out over the 3 days. So do be on the lookout if you are going into any of our mountain regions. Some of the highways may see periods of some slick travel conditions at times as we go over the next 3 days or so. But generally, for most population centers, not really expecting a big snowfall performance here out of this system. And a look at high temperatures Monday as we start to dry out, start to trend into high pressure, starting to regain a few degrees here with 40s, maybe even some 50s coming back in here across lower elevations of the Snake Plain and eastern Magic Valley. We'll wrap up again with a look at flooding. So we are entering our general flood season here in southeast Idaho, but as we told you yesterday, with these several days of precipitation expected, things are looking pretty good. We're looking pretty stable. We're not expecting most rivers and creeks to approach bankful or minor flood stage. Very good news there. We are expecting some noticeable increases, some rises on the Snake River, also up on the Henry's Fork, but not expecting flooding. The one spot we're watching closely, though, for maybe some flooding is the Portneuf. Starting upriver here over toward Lava Hot Springs, the blue line is what the river's been doing here over the past few days. The dotted purple line is the forecast going forward. You can see that we are right around bankful or action stage, and we're expected to stay there right around bankful conditions, but not currently forecast to hit minor flood. Portneuf River in the Pocatello area, however, we are right on the cusp early this morning, Friday morning, of hitting minor flood stage. Expecting minor flood conditions to continue here through possibly early Sunday morning before we start to drop off. Those cooler temperatures will stabilize snowmelt and runoff for us, and we'll see less precipitation going into next week. So, Sacagawea Park area here in Pocatello, possibly some flooding. Also down toward Ingham, where the Portneuf River and the Marsh Creek come together. Another candidate for some flooding in fields and low-lying areas, so just be on the lookout for that. That's it for your hazard briefing this morning. As always, feel free to reach out if you have questions, comments, or concerns, and everyone have a wonderful Friday.